You're listening to the Cyberwire Network, powered by N2K.
This episode is brought to you by Palo Alto Networks, the leader in cybersecurity. As AI-driven attacks increase, organizations can't afford to have network security that's stuck in the past. Discover how Palo Alto Networks can help you predict what's coming and proactively secure against it with a zero-trust, AI-powered network security platform built to secure whatever, whenever, wherever. To learn more, visit paloaltonetworks.com/network security platform. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the CyberWire's Research Saturday. I'm Dave Bittner, and this is our weekly conversation with researchers and analysts tracking down the threats and vulnerabilities, solving some of the hard problems, and protecting ourselves in a rapidly evolving cyberspace. Thanks for joining us.
So as part of our daily threat research job, we are analyzing the attack logs from traffic passing through Akamai. In this case specifically, we were hunting for attacks targeting Magento e-commerce platforms.
That's Maxim Zavodchik. He's a threat research director at Akamai. The research we're discussing today is titled Zurum, New Magento Campaign Discovered.
As we knew, it was a high-value target for different financially motivated cyber gangs in the past. So besides the regular opportunistic scans and commercial vulnerability scanner traffic that we often see in our logs, we have also noticed several well-obfuscated HTTP requests targeting some of our e-commerce customers.
Well, let's dig into some of the details here. I mean, who exactly do we suppose is behind this, and what are they up to?
So, while looking closer at the request payloads, it was clear for us that there is a well-organized campaign going on. Judging by the payload, the attackers seems to have a higher level of sophistication and expertise than the common attackers that we see. It's not clear who is behind this attack, but definitely they possess a lot of Magento developer-level knowledge, and we're targeting specific businesses.
So for folks who may not be familiar, Magento is an e-commerce platform or utility to allow people to facilitate taking payments on their websites?
Yeah, Magento, owned now by Adobe, is a popular e-commerce platform used by many high-traffic shops. And Magento and other e-commerce platforms are a high target for operations or collections of groups called MageCart in the recent years. Those MageCart specializes in skimming payment data from customers of online shopping cart systems, primarily Magento.
Well, let's dig into some of the details here. I mean, how exactly is this group going after people who are using Magento?
Yeah, so actually that was interesting here. So while looking closer at the request payloads, it was clear for us that it's something going on here. So the actual attack chain is initiated by trying to exploit the Magento CVE discovered a year ago and executing obfuscated PHP code. This code was just a bridgehead to fetch a bigger piece of PHP from a server named Zurum. And by the way, the name Zurum we picked for this campaign is after this domain name. So this PHP code has more obfuscated code, which has different exploitation steps. The first one was collecting technical information on the Magento system, such as Magento directories and other information, and also the encryption key used to secure sensitive customer data, such as passwords and payment details. But besides the technical information, the attackers were also collecting payment methods information used in the last 10 days and exfiltrated those to the Zurum server. After exfiltrating this information, they were adding backdoor admin users with the names MageWorks and MagePlaza, which is interesting because those are very famous Magento extension stores, meaning those threat actors are really familiar with the Magento ecosystem. Once installing those backdoor users, they were creating a Magento component named GoogleShoppingAds, trying to camouflage their intentions. And this specific component was quite interesting because it's not commonly how attackers deploy things. So if someone will try to browse this component, they will get an empty response, nothing. But if you add a special cookie name, such as mojo000, it will fetch an advanced web shell from GitHub. And that's also was surprising because usually attackers reuse different public web shells, but they maintain a copy of a web shell on their own server. While in this case, we have seen those attackers pointing to a GitHub repository. And that has different advantages for the attackers. So one of them is that it's harder to attribute because it's a public service rather than an infrastructure rented by the attackers. Also, a malicious server that hosts the web shell can quickly be taken down by the ISP if you file an abuse report, but it's impossible to take down the public GitHub repository. And another advantage for attackers here is that every time the attackers exploit a new target, they fetch the up-to-date version of the web shell, which includes all the recent enhancements done by the author.
The start of the year is a great time to take that next step in your education, career, and beyond. Rely on N2K certification prep to provide the tools to help boost knowledge, skills, and confidence to get you there. And now, for a limited time, all N2K certification practice tests are 40% off. Visit n2k.com/certify and use promo code N2KVDAY. That's N2KVDAY to save 40% on your purchase. That's n2k.com/certify with promo code N2KVDAY. Offer ends Monday, February 19th. Happy learning.
And now a word from our sponsor, 6sense. 6sense provides award-winning cloud-based automated endpoint and vulnerability management solutions to streamline IT and security operations. With its advanced platform, businesses gain complete visibility and control over their infrastructure, reducing IT and security risks and optimizing operational efficiency. With 6sense, you'll get real-time alerts, risk-based vulnerability prioritization and remediations, and an intuitive automation and orchestration engine so you can focus on your core business goals, confident in the knowledge that your enterprise is secure, compliant, and running smoothly. Visit 6sense.com to learn why enterprises choose them. Now, is this a case of them taking advantage of organizations who haven't kept up to date with the latest version of Magento?
Yeah, Dave, it's kind of unfortunate to see, right? This vulnerability is at least was discovered at least a year ago, and we still see many threat actors trying to exploit this vulnerability. And we did find some successful exploitations. Some of the indirect information we had in the attack payloads, we've seen a website infected with the web skimmer. Web skimmer is, think about the digital version of the ATM skimmers that were deployed in the past, where the attackers will infect a web page with a malicious JavaScript that will pop up some credit card and ask for credit card information exfiltrated to attackers' servers.
What are your recommendations for folks to make sure that they haven't been infected with this, but also to prevent it?
So I don't want to sound like a broken record, but the best way to protect is always applying the latest patches on time.
Yeah.
But I understand that businesses struggle with this as the number of applications is growing every day and the environment become more dynamic. It's really difficult to maintain your assets and understand the exact versions and what are the vulnerabilities there. So I do believe security is in layers. So patching, yeah, definitely that's the best solution, but that's hard. So other complementary methods could be used, such as running daily routines on your database to see whether there are new admin users added, implementing different complementary methods like web application firewall to prevent the initial access vector and the actual CV exploitation, and also client-side inspections to detect skimmers on your website and getting closer to the attacker's business model.
How do you rate the sophistication of this group?
Yeah, definitely those are not the common attackers. Definitely they show higher level of expertise. On the technical side, I would say, while reading the malicious code, one can clearly see they possess a Magento developer level knowledge and are very familiar with the Magento internals like the Magento database structure and all the nuances of Magento add-ons. The backdoor users, as I mentioned, that they name and create are after well-known Magento extension stores, Match Plus and Matchworks, which shows their familiarity with the Magento ecosystem. On the operations side, I think they also outstand. And while many campaigns are spraying the internet with exploits, hoping something will stick, those attackers are more patient and carefully picking their targets. I believe that's what helped them to make this operation undetected for so long.
Do you have any sense for how widespread this is or what level of success they've had?
So it's very difficult for me to tell the exact numbers here because our customers seems to be successfully mitigating those vulnerabilities, those exploit attempts. But it seems like that this campaign was very targeted, so it's not clear how many targets were the targets was and how they were profiling their targets.
When you look at the big picture here, I mean, organizations like this who are coming after these e-commerce platforms, is that an area where we're seeing growth or are folks getting on top of this or are things staying the same? What's your sense?
I think the number of applications grow, sophistication grow. We see more attackers joining this party, right, and trying to monetize on the digital assets. But also the defense technology advances and provides more automation, more insights to the defenders.
Our thanks to Maxim Zavodchik from Akamai for joining us. The research is titled Zurum, New Magento Campaign Discovered. We'll have a link in the show notes. And now, a word from our sponsor, SpyCloud, the cybercrime analytics leader. SpyCloud disrupts cybercrime by telling you what criminals know about your business and your customers, so you can take action to prevent ransomware, session hijacking, account takeover, and online fraud. SpyCloud constantly recaptures and analyzes new data from the criminal underground, including credentials, session cookies, and PII siphoned from malware-infected devices. With knowledge of the specific exposed data criminals have in hand from InfoStealer malware on managed and unmanaged devices, security teams can respond with a more efficient and effective process called post-infection remediation that fits seamlessly into existing incident response frameworks. Get SpyCloud's post-infection remediation guide outlining the 7 steps for preventing a malware infection from becoming a full-blown ransomware incident. Visit spycloud.com/cyberwire. That's spycloud.com/cyberwire. And we thank SpyCloud for sponsoring our show. The CyberWire Research Saturday podcast is a production of N2K Networks, proudly produced in Maryland out of the startup studios of Data Tribe, where they're co-building the next generation of cybersecurity teams and technologies. This episode was produced by Liz Irvin and senior producer Jennifer Iben. Our mixer is Elliot Peltzman, our executive editor is Peter Kilpie, and I'm Dave Bittner. Thanks for listening.